we went into Child's Bar and I popped a few drinks. Everybody was excited the war was over. It was the adult, like I said before, it was the adult of all these servicemen that were the happiest. They were, I don't know, they absorbed the end of the war a lot stronger than the servicemen did.
One thing that also came out with Rita is she says she has very vague memories of the actual event. She remembers going to Child's Bar, she remembers everything that George referenced, she remembers coming down Times Square, everyone hugging everybody. She has the faintest memory of this occurrence. I said, how could that possibly be? She says, A, it happened quicker than you might think. You say 10 seconds, she said, but it just all seemed quicker than that. And it wasn't anything that we just took any much notice of. There was just so much excitement that day, the whole day was a blur. So that is her reporting of it. I asked her, did she say anything afterwards? I mean, many times I interviewed her on this subject. She says, no, it was nothing, I think is what she said. That's how she viewed it at the time.
If I had grabbed the nurse, and if my wife wasn't with me, it would have looked a hell of a lot worse.
From the picture of Rita, it doesn't look like she's upset at all.
No.
And I think that's very clear, in particular in the first of the photos, you see a much clearer picture. The other two photos you can't see her, she's blocked. But no, that's correct, she seems to be smiling gleefully. Again, which is consistent with her memory of that day.
She can positively be identified as the girl in the background. And at Yale University, Richard Benson found this in the photos. Also, Richard Benson found my initials tattooed on my arm. And she can positively be identified with photos of her back in that same year.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wondered, I think it's true after those 5 Sullivan boys were killed, didn't they change the rules?
Yes.
So
They changed the rules before they went on the ship. But they demanded that they serve in the Navy together, the whole 5 brothers. As a matter of fact, the father of those 5 Sullivan brothers, he was also one of 5 brothers. And on the ship, when we sailed for the Pacific, we had around 25 Sullivans. I think they're going to have the whole crew named Sullivan. Realize that this is going to be kind of mixed up here. But the uncle of the 5 Sullivan brothers served on the ship with us when we went to the Pacific.
They made a movie of that, and it was very sad. I don't even know if they get a DVD of that today. I don't know. It was so about that.
Yeah, no, I recall the film you're referring to.
Very sad.
That came out quite a few years back. Yes.
When they determined that he was who he said he was, did he ever receive any royalties from the magazine or anyone else for that?
No, it's actually, we talk about this in the book because there was a lawsuit at one point in time for the recognition. It wasn't about getting any funds for it. It was about getting Life to basically say that indeed it was actually him. The problem is that it does get into the issue of royalties, and that might be part of the reason that Life stood away from this. I can't say that for sure, but it certainly looks that way. With that in mind, the photograph, according to the suit, they determined that it belongs to the photographer. But you need the permission of, if you know who the sailor is. So once you identify the sailor, you need to get the permission before you can put him out there. By Life now saying that they don't know who that is, that could be part of motivation. We can't say that for sure, and I don't make that claim, but it's, that's certainly a possibility. But George, for his part, has not pursued any funds, but isn't interested in funds. He is interested, however, in sharing his story and getting the recognition that frankly he's deserved for a long time.
Around 1980, Life magazine asked me to come to New York to meet the nurse, Greta Freeman. So I went to New York and they introduced me to Greta. That's the first time I had met Greta after all this publicity. So they set her up in Times Square, right in front of the Times building. And they pick me up in the limousine and bring me down into Times Square. And they tell me, we're gonna have Greta in front of the Times building. Now you walk up to her, and then you walk up to her, we're gonna start filming you meeting Greta. I said, well, I don't know who the hell she is. Point her out to me. So anyway, I'm walking across Times Square. And they're pointing at that's her. So I walk up to Greta, and naturally they expect me to grab her and kiss her. So I walk up to her and I finally said something like, well, it's finally great to finally get to meet you after all these years. So I grabbed her and I kissed her. And then in the Times building, the tape circulating the Times building, they had it rigged up on the tape that it said it had to be you. That's the only time in life kind of admitted that I was the guy.
Was your wife with you?
Actually, we talked with people about that, and they in so many ways said that, you know, we thought it was Greta Friedman and George Mendonsa. But that's not official from Life, that's people who worked at Life during that time. So it seems to be quite clear that they were aware early on that the evidence suggested that it was in fact him. And her, by the way, not you, Shane.
Do you still teach history and where?
I go to Kingston High School, yes, I have. I've been teaching now for 32 years. Yes.
Did you ever apologize to the original kid who said it was him and you were with him?
Yeah, actually I did. In fact, I did better than that. We had the book launching. I invited him, told the story to everyone who was there, and presented him with the first copy of the book. The student that said in 1994 that I apologized to him, yes, I did, and thanked him and did a presentation for him. So, yes.
Sir, your ship, the SS Sullivan, what type of ship was it? A fast frigate or a bomber?
She was built for World War II. She was a 2,100-ton destroyer. And I guess the United States Navy built that design destroyer. They built about 175 of them during World War II.
We saw the SS Sullivan down in the Bahamas on one of my cruises.
Well, that's a new ship.
That's right, yeah.
The other one, the one that actually George served on is actually in Buffalo.
It's up in Buffalo, New York.
Right.
It's a tourist attraction.
George, have you seen the statue that I've seen in Sarasota?
Yes.
It's incredible. I understand there are 2 of them.
There's also one out in San Diego, and then there's also a touring one that goes from different places. And they set up in Times Square a couple of years ago. I believe they're setting it up this August 14, 2015.
I wrote a letter trying to get them to set it up in Boston sometime, but nothing ever happens.
One of the sons of Johnson & Johnson, the pharmaceutical people, one of the sons is the guy that made that statue after the war. I've met him.
Great.
Does he mind telling his age now?
What?
Do you mind telling your age?
92.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Everybody from World War II to be a veteran, they gotta be in their 90s.
You were a kid, you were actually a kid then.
Yeah, I was in at 19. I think I got out around 22.
Well, thank you again for everyone for coming out today. We appreciate the opportunity to share this story. We do welcome opportunities to do this within reason. We toured a little bit outside of Massachusetts and Rhode Island, but obviously that is a little bit more involved when we do that. But if you do have any sites, we like sharing it and spreading the word and making sure that George gets the recognition that, again, is deserved for a long time, long overdue. So thank you for being a part of this.